Hello, welcome to Canine Development, Life Stages and Critical Moments in the Life of Your Dog. I'm Megan. My contact info is right there. This is just a brief overview of some developmental stages that you can see through the life of your dog. Just some things to be aware of when you are bringing a dog home, depending on their age, some things that you can expect. So, especially if you're bringing in a puppy, knowing those developmental periods, knowing what a fear period is, and what that may mean as you raise your furry friend. So, developmental periods, there are 8 stages. We're going to kind of briefly touch on all of them, but keep in mind that they progress at different rates for each dog, that the guidelines that are given are not 100% concrete, other than prenatal. Mother's impact, there is a large impact that the mother plays in how a puppy develops. So we're going to kind of touch on that as well. So prenatal is the in utero aspect here. The mother's impact comes into play quite a bit. There's a lot of evidence that a stressed or nutritionally deprived mother can impact the development of the puppies later on. Puppies who are products of a mother who was stressed while pregnant with them tend to develop some sort of stress behaviors down the line themselves. Neonatal is roughly what we would equivalent to an infant in humans. They're really sensitive to temperature at this point, so a good breeder would be handling the puppies small amounts a day, giving them exposure to different textures and temperatures, so that way it promotes emotional benefits, learning benefits, problem solving down the line. Transitional is kind of like the toddler in a human. They're starting to walk, their teeth are coming in, those razor sharp puppy teeth that we all really, really dislike. They're starting to seek social contact, and we can start interacting with them a little bit more, exposing them to novel stimuli in their whelping area, so they have more novel things there to explore, ball pits, things to interact with, things that will help them to kind of problem solve and experience different sensations. Puppies that are weaned early like this can exhibit some obsessive compulsive behaviors. So just keeping an eye out that if you are about to get a puppy, if your breeder tells you, hey, 3 weeks, the puppy's ready to go, ask to hold off. If you are looking for a breeder, pay attention to when they send dogs home, what exposure they give them at these points in development, what they do to kind of set them up to be confident dogs. So the socialization period is kind of our preschool area. They're learning all about the world around them now. They're learning from their litter mates, they're learning from their mother, they're learning from the people that they come into contact with, everything in their environment. From the time your dog is born to the time your dog dies, it's learning something every second of the day. Even, we might not be doing a formal training session, but they are constantly learning. Their experiences are teaching them something about the world. 8 weeks old, some people think is too early for a dog to be in puppy class. It is definitely not. If you're bringing your dog home at 8 weeks or 10 weeks, get them into a puppy class that will work on doing proper socialization that minimizes fear in the dog, that gives them a positive experience. These fear periods are important. The first one tends to happen around the time that your dog is coming home. So you want to make sure that we're limiting anything that might be traumatic to the animal, making sure that they're having positive experiences by their standard, minimizing fear, learning what effective and proper socialization is, so that way you can socialize your dog appropriately, so that they're having really good experiences during this fear period, where they're testing the world and they're learning what is safe and not safe by their experience. Juvenile here, they're more independent. They are definitely social creatures, but they're less bold and thrill-seeking as they were before. So they're starting to test the waters a little bit, realizing that things that they haven't seen before, they need to be cautious of, because they don't know what it's going to do, whether it's safe or not safe for them. Adolescent here, this is where we're going to start seeing some problem behaviors come up. They start experimenting with the environment a little bit more, needing consistency and predictability. That's kind of key for any life stage. Same with physical and mental exercise, and I'm going to stress the mental exercise part of that. So puzzle games, training, problem solving, doing, snuffle mats and Kongs, things like that, hiding treats around the house, playing hide and seek with you, things like that. Their second fear period is usually around this time, so we need to be aware of that, because once again, it is forming their beliefs about the world. We want to avoid trauma. We want to make sure our experiences are positive, which should be all stages of life, but especially during this fear period, because these things are going to cement their beliefs about the world, and then we're going to be managing problem behaviors rather than kind of trying to prevent them. And again, there's genetics and effects from the mother and other things that play into the behaviors of your animal. But these are some of the things that we can do to kind of help that. Social maturity, adult, this is where they kind of start to level out, and you kind of see who your dog is really going to be. They're kind of through all of the toddler tantrums and testy teenager phase, things like that are a little more level. Senior, everything that you could expect from a human senior, decreased activity, health issues. Definitely, keep them mentally stimulated. They might not be able to go for the long walks that they used to, or run after the ball like they used to, but you can do a lot of the mental stimulation to still enrich their lives, still keep them occupied, still keep their brain developing and functioning. There's no such thing as being too old to learn a new trick. Some resources that you guys can all check out to really dive into this stuff: Whole Dog Journal, clickertraining.com. The book Puppy Start Right has all of these developmental stages laid out very, very well in the whole first chunk of the book, and it also has a lot of tools for raising your puppy. There's also Puppy Start Right classes that you can take, so you can look for those out there. And the American Society for Veterinary Behavior is also a very good resource to look at for things relating to this. If you guys have questions, this was just a high-level overview, give you kind of a primer on canine development. So please drop some questions. I will do my best to answer them or point you to a resource that can. I hope you guys learned a thing or two, and I hope that you guys have an awesome day with your furry friend.